welcome back to LA Uncensored podcast series, episode 6. Tonight, I do not have a guest. It's just me and TikTok Live. But I am so excited to, talk about what I'm going to talk about today. And I have a surprise for y'all. And this is going to be a really good episode. I have a surprise for y'all, okay? So, I don't want to drag it. People on TikTok is waiting for me to start, so let's just hop right into it. Okay, y'all, the first topic is being an entrepreneur. And I know I kind of touched on this prior, like in my last, I think it was like episode 2. I think it was like episode 2 when I talked about it. But I want to talk about it again because I've only been an entrepreneur since 2018. 2018 is when, not 2018, actually 2019. Yeah, 2019 is when I became an entrepreneur. And people be asking me, like, how was your experience? How was your transition? How do you stay consistent? How do you stay motivated? Because, being an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself. So you don't have somebody telling you to clock in. You don't have somebody telling you to get up. You don't have somebody telling you to make money. You're literally depending on yourself to do so. So, just basically, how do you stay on your ass about, making money and actually growing and making more and more money? Because I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, your goal should be $1 million plus. Like, there's no reason that you're working for yourself to just make bare minimum salary. Like, you should want to reach millions because at the end of the day, this is another topic that we're going to get into. You're a creative. And you should be able to create on top of what you create to make you more and more money. So first and foremost, I would say one thing about being an entrepreneur, you have to do something that you actually enjoy doing. Back in quarantine, what was that, 2020, like the beginning of 2020 is when quarantine happened. I'm a barber. If you guys do not know, I cut hair. That was ugly. I cut hair, but during quarantine, we weren't able to cut hair, and we weren't allowed to actually, it was again, like it was like a law, like they were giving out fines if cosmetologists or barbers were doing hair during quarantine and stuff. But I'm like, bills still gotta get paid, and like I said, I'm an entrepreneur now, so I didn't have a paycheck to fall on. I literally only had the money that I was making in the barbershop, but we couldn't work. So what I started doing as a creative, I'm like, I'm gonna make money somehow because bills gotta get paid, food gotta be on the table. I'm a grown woman. I don't have nobody to like call and be like, hey, can you, you spot me for rent this month. So what I started doing was, I started selling wigs. I started making wigs. But I didn't have a passion for it. I never wanted to do it. It never crossed my mind. I just was doing it to make money while we're in quarantine. So hey, everybody that just hopped on here. So boom, after quarantine, after like it was lifted and we were able to go back to work, I had already built like a wig clientele. Like I was making mad money. Like I was selling those wigs for like $300 a pop. Yeah, each wig. I mean, I guess it's not a lot now because wigs now be going for like $500. But then I was selling my wigs for like $300 a wig and I was making some money. Okay. But me going back to work, I was back in my space. I was back doing what I love to do, which was cutting hair. And my clients was ready. So I started getting overwhelmed with, being a barber and also making wigs. Quarantine hustle was so crazy. Everybody was doing wild stuff. Like we were just trying to make a way. We was trying to survive. So I feel that. But yeah, so people were asking me, can you make a wig? Can you do that? Can you do that? I'm like, I'm back in the shop now. I'm back doing what I want to do. I didn't have the drive and I didn't have the motivation to keep making wigs because that was never something I had a passion for. Like what I wanted to do was cut hair. Like I didn't have fun making them wigs, y'all. Like I literally took hours making them wigs. I don't know if there's wig makers on here, but making a wig by hand was not fun. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't love it enough to actually invest and learn how to use one of those sewing machines. Like, no, I was literally, I'm gonna be honest now, I was throwing them shits together. Fuck it, I said it. I was throwing them shits together. Period. So anyways, y'all, to make a long story short, I gave up on making wigs. Like, I cut it loose. Cause I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't have a passion for it. It's becoming harder now. I can't really fit it into my schedule now. I'm back working. And, you know, money is coming in. I'm making mad money cutting hair now because everybody's ready to sit in my chair because, you know, everybody can get a haircut now. So I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore. So I did say that example to say that when you don't have a passion for something, there's nothing that's going to hold you to it if you really don't enjoy doing it. It's going to feel like a job. And if you're making more money somewhere else, you're going to focus on making that money somewhere else. For example, if you're selling lashes and you also work a 9 to 5, if you just started selling lashes, of course you're making more money at your 9 to 5. Is that making sense to y'all? Like, you don't have a passion for selling lashes. You didn't, as a little girl, you never said, I want to sell lashes when I grow up. Like, you're literally just selling lashes because you see somebody else doing it and you see somebody else is making 6 figures on it now. So you're like, okay, this might be an easy bag for me. But as you're trying to grow your business and get your stuff out there, you're still working a 9 to 5. And at the time, that 9 to 5 is paying your bills. So you're not going to put your all and you're not going to, you know, go hard and just go full blast on selling lashes because you're not making money off of it right now. You're spending more money than you're making right now. And you don't have a passion for it. You don't even like doing it. Like, okay, what my name is. My name is LA. Put people selling dinners. It'd be mad people selling plates. I'm dead. But yeah, so to be an entrepreneur, to be a successful entrepreneur, for everybody that's new on here, I am an entrepreneur. I am a barber. I've been a independent barber since 2019. So I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit, you know? But, you know, as I was saying, being an entrepreneur, you have to have a passion for whatever you choose to do, or it's not going to work because there's going to be times where you don't make money. There's going to be times where, you know, you get bad reviews. And there's going to be times where it's not going right or your plan isn't making sense. There's going to be times where people don't believe in you. It's going to be times where it's literally you against the world. But the only thing that's going to hold you to doing it is because this is something that you want. This is something that you have a passion for. Like, this is your baby. This is something that you cherish. Like, you've been wanting this. You know what I mean? So first and foremost, you have to be doing something that you actually have a passion for doing. But let me be honest. I really never really wanted to be a barber. But when I graduated with my cosmetology license in 2018, that's when I learned that I enjoy cutting hair. Like, now when I cut hair, play a good song. If it's a good station on, and I can be in the shop cutting hair all day and I'll be cool. Unless I get hungry or something. Because it's a vibe. Like, I enjoy cutting hair. It's peaceful. But if it was something that I didn't like doing, baby, I'm ready to go. Another thing about being an entrepreneur is you have to have confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to really believe in yourself. Like, you have to be your biggest fan. Let me tell y'all this. When I'm not at work, when I'm not at school, when I'm not doing something like this, I'm literally watching videos of myself and literally admiring myself and just cheering myself on because nobody really knows what I've been through. Nobody really knows what it took for me to get here. And for you, you should feel the same way as well. Nobody knows what you've been through. Nobody knows what you got going on. Nobody knows why you want this so bad. Nobody really sees your progress unless you let them in. People don't know that. People will see that you posted, okay, you made, you know, you sold out this week. Let's say, for example, you was selling dinners. Like Drez said, I'm sorry if I messed your name up. Like Drez said, you know, you out here selling dinners. People don't know that prior to you selling out your food, Walmart didn't have a certain ingredient. You burnt a couple meals. Something didn't taste right. Your kids didn't fuck it. So something didn't happen, but people from the outside looking in don't know that you struggled mad hard just to be able to sell out them plates the way that you did. So you have to be able to congratulate yourself when nobody else is congratulating you, even when it's not going how you planned it to be. Like, you really have to believe in yourself. Like, people just not out here giving handouts, especially working for yourself. Like, when you at a job, of course you're gonna get a paycheck, but when you working for yourself, people are not just gonna give you their money just because you say, oh, I'm a barber, or oh, I'm a stylist, or oh, I'm a model, or I'm a rapper, or I sell hair, or da-da-da. Like, people is not, okay, here. Like, no, you really have to prove yourself. And if you're insecure and you like, okay, you compare yourself to people that's doing something similar to you, you'll really never succeed. Like, you have to focus on yourself and focus on your plate and focus on why you deserve it just as much as the next person. The thing about it is, y'all, for me, like, let's really get to it. We looking at all of these people online with all this fucking money doing mad. I don't know if, oh my God, I'm sorry, TikTok. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Can I curse on here? Let me know something, because I'm not trying to get blocked. Can I curse? But you looking at people making all this fucking money, doing all this shit, like, just cashing out. Why do you not believe that I wouldn't? Okay, bet. Why do you not believe that you can do the same thing? Like, I feel like if somebody on Instagram making $1 million just from showing up to a party, I can do it too. Who are they? Like, not to take anything away from them, but I'm a human just like they is. I can do that as well if that's what I want to do. So that's first things first. Like, just, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter who you're talking to. You have to put it in your own head that I can be as good as the next millionaire. I can be a millionaire because they're a millionaire too. Period. Like, what? All these millionaires in the world, and you think I'm not gonna be one? Why would I not be one and everybody else one? Like, mad people, like, y'all, like, that's really how I think about stuff. Because I feel like if they can do it, I can do it too. I don't care how cliche that sounds. If they can do it, I can do it. So, number 3, you have to have a plan. Y'all, let me stress this. You have to have a plan. Like, people think, okay, I'm trying to practice not throwing shade when I'm doing my podcast, because I feel like, some people might get offended, and I'm never trying to offend anybody. I'm just, speaking from my point of view and what I've seen and what I've witnessed. But I'm gonna just say it anyways, because, who cares? People think that just because they say, okay, I'm gonna go back to the lashes example because that's easy. Okay, so-and-so selling lashes and they making a living off of it. I want to do it too. I'm just gonna find me a vendor. This vendor is gonna give me lashes and I'm just gonna sell it for more than what I paid for. And boom, I'm gonna be making 6 figures like the next bitch that's selling lashes. Sorry, TikTok. Like the next girl that's selling lashes. No, you literally have to have a business plan. Like, people be trying to take an easy route. Like, there's no easy route to making $1 million off of being an entrepreneur. There's no easy route. It's literally not. Like, people just really don't. I'm not trying to sound like one of them cliche preachers, because I hate that shit. But it's kind of true when you really think about it. People really don't be willing to put the work in that needs to be put in to work for yourself. It's hard. It's not easy. There's numerous times where I freaking picked up a job application like I'm about to go back and get a check. Like, because it's not easy. And it's definitely not easy when you don't have a plan. So I really recommend, like, making a business plan and really thinking about all your connections you need. Like, who do you need to talk to? What do your day-to-day need to be like so you can reach a certain goal? Like, literally being your own manager. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You really have to be your own manager because you don't have a boss anymore. You don't work. Remember, you work for yourself. So you're an employee at your own business that you're trying to create. You have to put yourself on a 9-to-5 type of timing. Don't say you're an entrepreneur if you just selling 2 packs of lashes a day, baby. You're not making no money. That's change. That's literally change. Like, I mean, that's cool if you, like, you know, this is your first day out here for real, but you have to set goals for yourself. You have to prioritize your time. And like I said, you have to put yourself on a schedule, your own 9 to 5 schedule. Like, you have to literally be at a table. This is the black table I'm sitting at right now. You have to sit down and actually get hungry. Like, really, like, y'all, it's crazy because people really don't realize how, when you have a creative mind, how beautiful it actually is. Like, one thing for me, and I'm sorry y'all if I'm rambling, but my mind is like, it's so much stuff coming up in my head that I want to say, and I don't want to forget it, so I'm trying to say it before I forget it. But I'm also trying not to get off topic, so bear with me. People don't want to fall in love with the process. You know, they so focused on getting to the end goal that they're not realizing that they're farther than what they was yesterday, and falling in love with the fact that you're growing. And, you know, and that's the difference between me and you. That's the difference. I fall in love with the process every day. Like, when I think of a new idea for my business, y'all, I literally be so happy. Like, damn, I'm really gonna be rich. Like, this is just wild. But again, that goes back to really, you know, falling in love with what you want to do and actually having a passion for what you want to do. Because, like I said from the beginning, if you don't love it, you're never going to have that kind of excitement, because it's something that you really don't want to do. You're just trying to make money. If you take the money, let's say this, for everybody that's trying to be an entrepreneur, let's say this. If you take the money out of it, would you really want to be doing this forever? And that's a real question. If you take the money out of it, let's say you, for example, you wasn't getting paid to sell lashes. If you was just giving lashes to homeless people, a nonprofit lash company, would you be willing to do that? No. But if you ask me, would I be willing to go cut homeless hair for free? Yes. Yes, I would do that. Because for one, this is something that I love to do. For two, I love, you know, being a given person, but that's a whole nother story. Yes, I would cut hair for free. Yes, that's why I want a son, so I can cut my son's hair for free. Period. Okay, so just take the money out of it. Would you actually want to do this if you wasn't getting paid to do it? Like, for people that make music, or for the people that dance, or for the people that, you know, do art or draw or tattoo. That's, you know, that's something that you have a passion for. You're going to want to do that no matter if you're getting paid for it or not. So, that's a key. This is the beauty of this. This is the beauty of this. And the crazy thing about it is, I just started a podcast and I'm not getting paid for this. But I enjoy talking, and I enjoy getting my viewpoints across, and I enjoy conversation, and I enjoy human nature and understanding why people do what they do. So even though I'm not necessarily getting paid for this yet, I'm going to do it because I enjoy doing it. I need to take a sip of water on that. Another thing that I would say about entrepreneurship is you have to stay motivated even when it's not going how you want it to go. Because the thing about it is, even if you have a business plan, even if you mapped it out, life is life. Life does not always go how you want it to go. Life does not always just move in the direction that you want it to move. And I had to learn that because I'm kind of a spoiled brat when it comes to me. Since I've been able to give myself everything I want, when stuff doesn't go my way outside of me, I be so mad. I be mad at the world. But you just have to understand, life does not always go how you want it to be, especially when it comes to, you know, making a business and growing a business and creating something and trying to turn nothing into something. So when you're not making money, when you're not profiting, y'all, it's sometimes, bro, this is crazy. It's sometimes where I didn't even eat. And I'm just saying a testimony, because there was times that I didn't even eat. And it's because I didn't make enough money. Like, I only made enough money this week to pay my bills. Like, shoot, times are hard, especially right now. We're kind of in a recession. Like, times are hard. So everybody's not going to spend their last $30 on a haircut. So with that being said, sometimes LA can't eat. But am I going to just stop cutting hair because I didn't make my goal this week? No. You got to stay motivated. That's what you need to do when you're not making the goals that you plan for yourself. You need to buckle down on yourself, sit your ass down and have a conversation with yourself and tell yourself, what do you need to do so this will never happen again? I don't ever want to get behind on numbers. I don't ever want to spend more than I'm making when it comes to this investment that I made. Just conversations like that, and that will make you realize, like, why you're actually doing what you're doing. Like, it'll bring you back to why you originally started, and that's going to motivate you to keep going. Because, like, it's not always rainbows and sunshine. Like, if you're an entrepreneur on here, let me know, because I know I'm not the only one that feels like, that knows that it's a process, and it's not always straight up. Like, it's not you start a business here and the business just go up. It's going to be like this. It might drop down. You might be broker than when you start. That happened. It happened to me. And you might be broker than what you started. Broker than when you started. So you still have to stay motivated, though. You still have to, like I said, go back to the drawing board and, okay, this is why I started in the first place. But again, that goes back to my first point. If you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to stay consistent. You're not going to stay motivated, especially when you're not making no money. That's why a lot of people businesses does not last. That's why a lot of folks businesses do not last. I know y'all be seeing them folks that be starting lash businesses and be starting hair companies and be starting rapping. Yeah, I'm on y'all too. And the next month, they not doing that no more. It's because it didn't go as they planned, and they never had a passion for it. So they say, okay, maybe this is not for me. I'm just gonna give up. Like, no, I know being a barber is for me. I know being a motivational speaker is for me. I know being on the radio is for me. There's no stopping this. I don't care if I make money or not. This is what I love to do. So, but you know, it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth being an entrepreneur. Like, I would honestly say this is the best decision that I've ever made. And I, you know, even though I struggled, I ain't eat. Sometimes I ain't eat. I've made more money than I've ever made at any 9-to-5 job. And I don't have people on my neck telling me when to come in, telling me what to do, telling me how to live my life, telling me what I can't have on my neck, my hands, my face, because you don't have a face tattoo as well. You know, just little stuff like that. It's the little things that make you appreciative of working for yourself. So if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, or somebody that does want to start a business, or somebody that want to get their stuff out there, get their art out there, I think you should do it. At least, you know, do it because you love it. Like I said, take the money aspect out of it and do it just because you love it. And don't worry about what people are thinking. That's another thing. Like, bro, you cannot care about what other people think. You cannot care about what other people think. Because at the end of the day, people want to do what they want to do, and people going to think what they want to think. And you cannot let that get in the way of your bag. Topic number 2 is being an creative. Bad bitch series. Okay, so this kind of ties into being an entrepreneur, but I'm focusing on like what your creative side is. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of people, I feel like everybody has like a creative side, but some people just don't know how to tap into it, and some people don't know how to find it. So I'm just gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna get into the surprise I got for y'all. So being a creative, I realized that I was a creative at a young age. Y'all, I grew up poor. It is what it is. I grew up poor. So we didn't have, you know, cable. We didn't have family trips. We barely had going to the park. we really didn't have nothing but each other. Me and my siblings didn't have nothing but each other. So what I did to pass time outside of, being a nerd, I imagined, like I used my head. And what I would do, y'all, this is a crazy story, but well, it's not necessarily a story, but it's crazy. What I would do, let's say it's like 7 o'clock at night, I already finished my whole homework. And this is like around when I was like 12 years old. I would literally climb in my bed and I would just make up scenarios in my head as if I was watching a movie. Y'all, that's how broke I was. That's how broke we was. Like, that's crazy thinking about it now. But I would literally lay in my bed and just create scenarios in my head. And I would get so invested in these scenarios that I would literally make a part 2 and a part 3. Like every time, like before I went to sleep, I would, bring the scenario back up. It'd be like a movie. Sometimes it'd be like, getting rich or falling in love or being a bad bitch or just, just living a different life than what I was living at the time. And it was just so fun to me. I actually fell in love doing it. And that's how I figured out that I wanted to be an author, and I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to be a journalist, and I wanted to, at the time, I really didn't think about it being like a podcast. I wanted to be a podcast. I just knew I wanted to get my voice heard. So that's where it came. That's where it came to me. It was back in the day when I used to lay in my bed and make up stories, make up scenarios. So my creative side is honestly, I think, being a writer and being a inspiration to people, like being able to voice my opinion. Some people are not able to voice their opinion like I'm able to. So I feel like that's like, my creative side. And some people have creative sides. Drop y'all what's creative to y'all. Like, what do y'all feel like is your creative side? It can be drawing, it can be singing, dancing, it can be building something, it can be whatever skill that you feel like you have, creatively. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing because it can grow into so much more. You can literally bounce stuff off of it. Like, for example, me being a writer, when I was 12 years old, y'all, like 12, 13 years old, I actually wrote a book. And that's what I'm about to get into. That's my surprise, y'all. Oh, I killed the surprise early. Oh, I started off being a writer when I was young. And I turned that into a series. And I turned that into mentoring people. And I turned that into, now a podcast and be able to tell my story in different ways rather than just on paper. I can be able to tell my story out loud, and eventually I want to grow into actually speaking in front of thousands of people and actually being able to tell my story and actually be able to express myself. But it started off me expressing myself in my head and then expressing myself on paper and then actually writing an actual book that was published and stuff like that. So being a creative, you can grow. It's like a tree. It's like a flower that blossoms. It's like a flower that blossoms and you're able to get rich off of it. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think everybody should try to tap into their creative side and figure out what's for them. Like I said, I think every person on earth has something that's very unique about them that nobody else can do. That's them, that when they think of it, they know that's you type. So yeah, but anyways, y'all, let's just get into my creative side because this is my podcast, right? Okay, yeah. So when I was 12 years old, I was probably like 11, back in 2012 or 2011, I don't know. Way back then, I wrote a story. And if you guys know about Wattpad, who know about Wattpad in the comments? Wattpad. I think Wattpad came around my 8th grade year of middle school. And a lot of people would read the stories like as a group. And the reason why it was so popular is because some stories would be so nasty. Like, it'll be filthy. It'll be so filthy. And, we're kids. So we were like, we ain't never read something like this. We ain't never heard something like this. So people would go into detail about, their characters having sex. So that's why Wattpad was so popular. So I came across Wattpad, and I actually, at the time, I was in love with Mindless Behavior. And my girl, she loved me. Yeah. I was in love with Mindless Behavior, and I actually came across a book that was focused on the group Mindless Behavior. And I think it was the OMG girls too, but whatever. And I actually fell in love with the book. And after I read that book, I told myself I kind of want to write my own book. And I'm going to actually read a couple chapters to y'all. And what's crazy is I haven't read this book since probably like 2016. So it's been a minute. And what's crazy, even crazier thing about it is I still get notifications in my emails of people still reading this series back from 2011, 2012. Like, people still comment and vote and voice their opinions on this book. So I ended up getting 540,000 views on this book. That's a lot. That's 500,000. So I'm patting 11-year-old me on the back, because back then I didn't know nothing about that. So yeah, 540K views. Yeah. But let me read y'all the bio. Okay, so it says, this is the summary of the book. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. It says, Cashmere is a out of control girl that needs to be taught a lesson. Well, that's what her mom thinks. But in reality, she's a confused teen with a past. She gets shipped to Compton to live with her uncle and her cousin. Will she become the good girl her mom always wanted, or will everything go downhill and she own the streets of Compton? Y'all, I'm ready to read this book like I ain't read it. Like I ain't write it. Okay? You go, girl. You go, LA. Alright, so let me pick a chapter. I want to pick a chapter that's kind of, not the first chapter, because I feel like the first chapter is like, let's get to the mess. Let's get to the messiness. Okay. Okay. So just a backstory before I get into the chapter, because I don't want y'all to be confused as I'm reading it. Cashmere is the main character. She's kind of, she's a smart girl, but she has a temper. Like, she has a temper. And in the book, the main thing that she dislikes is being called a bitch. And me personally, at the time back then, I really didn't like the word B word. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like being referred to it as that. I didn't even like when my friends called me that. Like, I was big on don't call me a bitch. So in the book, I made Cashmere the same way. Like, it's offensive to call me a B word. So every time somebody would call her a B word, she would really fight. Like, she'll beat them up. Like, it'd be dudes and everything. So boom. So she moves to Compton with her cousin, and she actually meets a boy. Of course, she meets a boy, and he's a gangbanger. I didn't really go into detail with the gangs because, you know, I'm a little kid. I really don't know. So he was the leader of the Red Gang. And she basically falls in love with him, love at first sight, but she's trying to heal herself. And in the book, Cashmere is 16, I believe. She's like 16. But what they doing, ain't no way a 16-year-old should have been doing what they was doing in this book. Not nothing sexual, but just like the life they was living. But I think she's 16 in this book. So she is in high school, and she is like trying to, you know, grow. You know, when we're in high school, we're trying to grow and we're trying to figure out who we are before we graduate. That's basically what Cash is doing in this book. So that's kind of like a backstory. So she falls in love with a boy. She moves to Compton. Boom. So chapter 5 is where I'm going to start. Chapter 5 is called Trigger Boom. Cashmere's point of view. Okay, so ever since me and Vero's fight, we've been extra close. Like, he won't leave me alone. All he does is apologize and stuff. Like I said, she be fighting, so she was probably beating his ass. Right now I'm at y'all, it says right now I'm at Vero's trap. Girl, you 11 years old. You don't even know what a trap is. Right now, I'm at Vero's trap loading guns because I'm about to... Y'all, this is too funny. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I can get through this. This is too funny. Right now, I'm at Vero's trap loading guns because I'm about to find these motherfuckers who jumped me and put some holes in their ass. You sure you want to do this? You know I can send some of my boys after them. Vero said, no, I want to do this myself. Damn, Vero, I got this. I said, walking out the trap into my car. I guess I can start at the park since that's where they was at last time. Okay. I pull up to the park and see these bitches playing basketball and trying to talk to some girls. I got out the car with my gun in hand. Well, looky here. You come back for more? A dark-skinned dude says. I give him a smile and pull out my guns and start blasting. Now, come on now. Come on now, LA. Back in 2011, LA. Girl, so she just pulled up to the park and started shooting everybody in the park. This is so funny. Instantly, people and their kids start running and they start pulling out guns and shooting at me. But they got terrible aim. I shoot the last person and smirk and run back to my car before the police come. I swear after this, everybody gonna know not to fuck with Cashmere Stout, just like an ATL. Yo, I got 27 comments on this. Let me see what they said. They said, you too hood. Sis, your last name Stout, settle down. Sit your I wanna be somebody ass down, girl. Oh my God, they was on my head in these comments. Okay, so it says, I pull up to the house and Vero's car is here. I walk in the house and hear screaming and crying coming from Tracy. Tracy is Cashmere's cousin in the story. What the hell happened now? I walk in Tracy's room to see Vero holding a crying Tracy and one of Vero's guys, I guess I meant guys, standing at the door. What's going on? I asked. Vero got up and pulled me out of the room. I'm sorry, but Marcus got shot and killed this morning. Marcus is Tracy's dad, so Cash's uncle. I'm sorry, Cash. My mouth was wide open. I started shaking as tears slid down my face. Vero pulled me into a hug. I gotta go check on Tracy, I said, stepping off the hug. I walk into the room to see old dude hugging Tracy. I clear my throat and he get up and leave. You okay, Trace? I asked. How can this happen? I knew something was gonna happen. She said, reaching in her dresser and pulling out a blunt and lighting it. Girl, this is too funny. It's gonna be okay, Tracy. Uncle Marcus wouldn't want you to. Dang, I can't read. It's gonna be okay, Tracy. Uncle Marcus wouldn't want you to cry over this. You gotta be strong, Ma. I said as she passed me the blunt. Thanks, Cash, but right now I just want to be alone, she said, getting under her covers. I get up with the blunt in hand and walk up to my room. When I get in my room, I see Vero sprawled out on my bed. I walk over to him and starts tapping and pulling his hair. Watch out, he said, showing my hand. What you mean, watch out? You in my bed. Come lay with me, he said, pulling me on the bed with him. No, I gotta take a shower first, I said, getting out the bed and walking in the bathroom. I woke up to a mouth full of hair. I looked down to see Vero sprawled out across the whole bed. One thing that I love about my old self, my young me, was when I wrote this story, I really didn't have nothing sexual in there. Like, it was kind of like a startup. Like, y'all knew what was about to go down, but I didn't go into detail because, for one, I was only like 12 years old, so I really didn't know what to say anyways. I don't know about no sex. So I really like that about me, because some of them stories back in the day was wow. Y'all, like, literally wow. But yeah, back into it. I pushed him off of me and walked to the bathroom to take a shower and do the rest of my hygiene. Y'all, how I had this girl dressing kills me every time. I put on Levi's, a You Mad Bro t-shirt, and my fire red Jordans. When I walked out the bathroom, Vero wasn't there. I put my hair in a messy bun and went downstairs to see Vero sitting on the couch watching SpongeBob, eating my Lucky Charms. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Nobody fucks with the Lucky Charms. N-word, this is my cereal, I said, snatching the bowl out of his hand. Cash, stop playing. I'm trying to watch SpongeBob, he said in a whiny voice. Fine, if you want to be a B-word about it, I said with a smirk, handing him a cereal. He raised his eyebrow and got up. I got your B-word, he said, pushing me on the couch and tickling me. Vero, stop, blah, blah, blah. Okay, y'all, this is not really... Let me get to the drama. Okay, he let me go and his phone rung. What's up, Michael? What? When? Okay, I'm on my way. He hung up his phone and put on his jacket. What's wrong, Vero? I said, sitting up on the couch. I'll explain it on the way, he said, walking out the door. I grabbed my phone and walked out the door, hopping in Vero's car. Vero pulled out the driveway and started speeding like crazy. I'm like, is he trying to kill an N-word or nah? Vero, what the F got you driving like this? I said, clutching my seatbelt. Somebody broke into the trap and wiped out most of my boys. Somebody broke into the trap and wiped out most of my boys, he said, clutching the steering wheel. We pulled up to the trap and I saw people putting bodies in body bags. Stay in the car, Vero said, slamming the door. Who in the hell do he think he is? Nobody tell Cash what to do. I was so irky. Nobody tell Cash what to do. Vero's point of view. I walked in my trap and saw blood everywhere. I walked up to Michael. I don't know, man, but we damn sure gonna find out. How did they know our location? I don't know, Vero. Call a meeting in 15, I said, walking up to my office where stuff was thrown everywhere. I checked my stash and all of it was gone. I looked up at the wall and it said, let the games begin in blue. So y'all remember how I said I'm not really familiar with games. I was 11 years old when I wrote this. So it was red gang and their enemy was blue gang. Y'all get where I'm going with that. I can't say too much because I'm on TikTok. F-word, I screamed. I knew it was blue gang. I knew it was them. I knew it was blue gang. Cashmere's point of view. Effing Vero took the keys. Now I'm out here sweating and shit. Fuck it, I'm getting out. I got out the car and walked into the trap to see blood everywhere. I heard a loud F-word and followed the boys to our office where Vero was throwing stuff around. He turned around and looked at me and I gave him a cheesy smile. I thought I told you to stay in the car, he said, mugging me. And who are you to tell me what to do? And plus, it was hot as hell out there, I said, sitting in his rolly chair. Damn, Cash, why you gotta be so hard-headed? Don't take your anger out on me. I'm not the one who broke into your trap, I said, getting up to leave. I'm sorry, Cash. I'm just stressed out, okay? He said, pulling me into a hug. Whatever, I said, stepping out of the hug and folding my arms. Okay, I want you to go home and lock the doors because some shit is about to go down. Okay, I want you to go home and lock the doors because some shit is about to go down. He said more to himself than me. Y'all, I'm a writer. I am a writer. Like, this is getting too good. I kind of want to start from the top. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. I'm going to read one more chapter and then we're gonna move on. We're going to move on. But I will also let y'all know where y'all can go read this book. I actually sold this book back in 2016. Like, actually, I think it was like 2016, 2017. Like, I was probably like a junior in high school when I sold this book, which was years after I wrote it, because I wrote it in middle school, like freshman year. And I sold it for, I think, $600 a book. And it was 3 books. It was 3 series. So I made like like $1,800, almost 2 bands off these books. Like, no lie, y'all. But I sold it to a website that was kind of like Wattpad, but it was a different one. I think it was like a coming up website that was trying to like go above Wattpad. But I was like, I don't care. But yeah, I sold it. So this book is no longer on Wattpad anymore. It's on a website called Dream. And I don't own this book, so I sold it to them. What's crazy? That is so, I'm actually upset because now that I think about it, now that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm more educated with, you know, how to make money, I'm actually upset that I sold this book to them because, like, I gave up all rights to the book. So, to all 3 books. So, even if I wanted to actually go into, like, publishing it and making it a hard copy, I couldn't. And I feel like this book could really turn into one book and be a gold mine. Oh, I'm so mad about that. But I mean, if I was so back in the day, like really creative like that, I feel like I can tap back into my creative writing side again. So that's the beauty of being a creative, like I said. So chapter 6, one-on-one, Vero's point of view. So you think it was an inside job? Jason asked me, one of my boys. We're sitting in my office trying to figure out how to get back at Blue Gang. Hell yeah, we don't tell anybody about our shit unless they close. So what I want y'all to do is make y'all circle tight as hell. I mean, cut off your mama, your sister, your grandma, whoever it is. Cut them off until we find out who it is. Understood? Yeah, we got you, boss. All right, let's clear out, I said, walking out my office in the trap to my car. Cash's point of view. I was in the backyard playing basketball. For some reason, it relieves my stress. Like, Cash was like a tomboy. She was a tomboy. I liked her. I liked her character. I think I made her character, like, perfect to the T. I'm probably looking so ugly in this video, y'all, but I'm coming to the point where I don't have to prove that I'm beautiful anymore. People know that I'm beautiful, so I don't have to just keep... Sometimes I look like this. Ever since Tracy left, I can't get her out of my mind. Where was she? Is she okay? Who is she with? Is she okay? All these questions was in my head as I shot a 3-pointer. I heard a damn come from behind me. I turned around to see Vera leaning up against the brick wall staring at me. Nice shot, he said, walking towards me. Thanks. I would like to think of myself as a young Kevin Durant. Girl! Let me look at these 2 comments. Somebody said, yes, KD. Somebody called KD a snake. Oh, these comments are funny. Whoa, slow your roll. You ain't that good, mommy. He said, taking the ball out of my hands and shooting it. And the ball flew through the basket, making a whoosh sound, like, whoosh. You think you better? I said. He laughed at me. Ha, think? I don't want to hurt your precious little feelings, but I know I'm better than you. He said with a smirk. Want to bet? It depends. What we betting on? Anything you want, I said. Oh, God. I ain't even worried. I know I can beat him, just like them boys in ATL. Okay, if I win, you got to walk around my trap in bra and panties. Yo! This is funny. Girl, it's so funny to me because I wrote this when I was little. So I'm like, girl, what you know about walking around with bra and panties and heels on? Okay, and if I win, you have to take me on a shopping spree at the mall, I said. He looked at the sky and then at me and laughed. Why did he keep laughing like this is a game? Well, you better have a thong, because, mommy, I'm about to whoop your ass, he said, checking me the ball. I lost. It ain't because he was better than me. It was because he cheated by grabbing my butt. He gonna try and play it off by saying his hand slipped and then shot a 3-pointer. Like on some love and basketball shit. But yeah, y'all. This is a good story. This is a really good story. I'm not gonna go on because I'm already an hour in on the podcast. So, but if y'all want to read this book, just let me know. Like, reach out to me and I'll let y'all know how to read it. It's a really good story. And like I said, I wrote it when I was 11 to 12 years old. So don't be judging my vocabulary and, you know, the craziness. Because like I said, I haven't read this book probably since like 2016, 2018. So it's pretty funny. And like I said, I've made 3 series of it. The first book is called Bad Bitch. The third book is called Boss Ass Bitch. What's the third book called? The third book is called Cash Life. Bad Bitch trilogy, however you say that. And each book did numbers. Like the first book did 540K views, like I said. The second book did 202,000, so 202K views. And the last book did 32K views. That's just me. That's just a little bit about me, and that's y'all, allowing y'all to see my my creative side. And you know, me before I was a barber, and you know, I've always had a passion for creating something and being a writer. So, but let's move on. Let's get into the final segment of this podcast, and y'all already know what it is. What's happening in the news? In the news. What's happening in the news? So I wanted to talk about this topic. Low vibrational plates, Coach Stormy. So if you guys have not seen it, Coach Stormy, she is a mentor. She's like $1 million mentor, like $1 billion mentor, and she mentors people on how to make $1 million. Like, she was able to make $1 million, and she's always posting like these motivational videos. And one of the videos that she posted was her saying that, I guess they were like at a cookout, a barbecue cookout, and one of her mentees, like one of the girls that she was mentoring, had a plate, and she had a plate, and she called her mentee's plate a low vibrational plate, basically saying that she would never accept a plate that looks like that, basically comparing it to, you know, accepting certain shit in the world, I guess. So a lot of people on social media started dragging Coach Stormy, saying that she's not a real mentor, she talks down too much on her mentees, and she's saying, like, you know, who is she to say her friend plate was a low vibrational plate? Like, your plate was a low vibrational plate. And I want to just say this before I get deeper into it. I like Coach Stormy, and I've been following Coach Stormy probably since 2019, and she's an influencer, and she has a big presence on social media. So I'm sure a lot of stuff that she do is not necessarily how she feels. I feel like she's really doing it for, you know, the clout of it. Like, you know, what's going to blow up? What is social media going to take and run with? And they took and run with the low vibrational plate. Like, even Young Miami, like, redid it. And so it really went viral. And she got what she wanted. Like, she's a businesswoman. She knows how to put herself in a position to make more money. And this is exactly what she did. Like, literally, she got featured into, what was that magazine she got featured in? Let me see real quick. She got featured in Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is one of the biggest magazines ever. Like, so it did exactly what she wanted it to do, even though she got positive feedback and negative feedback. And I personally like Coach Stormy because she is an image of a successful Black entrepreneur, Black influencer, Black businesswoman that came from nothing. Like I said, I've been following her for a minute, and I was at a point where I literally was invested into, you know, I feel like she was my mentor. So I did, you know, my background on her. Her real name is Stormy Wellington. Stormy Wellington, if y'all want to look her up. And she didn't come from nothing. Like, she literally came from nothing. Like, I came from nothing. So that's probably why I admire her so much, because she's so, you know, she's real and she's authentic, and she's able to express, you know, why she is the way she is, and allow people to look back on her past, and she tells people the story of how she came from nothing to something, and she's giving it to other people. Like, and yes, she gonna charge a lot for it. Like, she's dang near a billionaire by this point, so it shouldn't be free. But that's just how I feel. I'm Team Coach Stormy, and I feel like what she did was like a marketing, more so for marketing. And she probably did have a bigger meaning behind it. Not necessarily just saying like, bitch, your food look nasty. Like, that's a low vibrational plate. Your food look nasty. Mine look better. Like, I'm sure she wasn't doing it like that. But she was sending a message, and the message was sent. So I'm Team Coach Stormy. And while we're on the topic, I want to talk about mentors. And I feel like having a mentor is a great idea. You should be able to follow somebody's footsteps. There's nothing wrong. It's not necessarily copying somebody or worshiping somebody or just like kissing somebody's ass. But if somebody's in a position that you want to be in, you should be humble enough to put your pride aside and actually be able to listen to them and take advice from them and say, okay, you have more money than me. You know more than me. You are more experienced. in the same field that I want to be in. So yes, I'm going to sit down and listen to you. A lot of people are not humble enough to be students. A lot of people do not know how to be a student and take information. And one thing about me is I'm a student. Like, I'll forever be a student. If somebody make more money than me, I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to hear what they have to say. I'm going to listen to their advice. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it's something that doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to leave it where they said it. But I'm never going to think I'm too good or too educated or already know what I'm doing. You got to tell me nothing. I got my plan. You do what you do and I do what I do. Like, no, I'm going to always take advice. So I want a mentor. I actually would love to be a mentee of Coach Stormy's. Like, I would love to actually be able to sit next to her and hear how she was able to get from nothing to something, like I said. So, but people are too sensitive. People are too sensitive. They take stuff so personal. I'm sure, even though her and the girl she was talking to, they were friends, they have a personal relationship, but I'm sure, like I said, they were not, Stormy was not trying to personally offend her. She was just referencing her plate as an example, as, you know, low vibration, like not accepting bare minimum ass shit, not accepting a thrown together as plate at the barbecue. And that's true. You go to a barbecue and you let somebody make your plate and they just threw that shit together and you just like, okay, you okay with it? That's low vibration. No, I'll make my plate myself or you make my plate how I want you to make it. And that's really what Coach Stormy was saying, and also referencing that to the business world and all of that. Like, don't just take what everybody is handing out. Give high vibration. So I'm high vibration. I'm giving high vibrational plates every time. It's long. So shout out to TikTok for staying locked in with me. Thank you guys so much for all of the likes and all the love. I see all of it. Thanks for tuning in. And also, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I love you guys so, so much. LA signing out.